Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me. 6 days we work, then we bask. We leave the noise to hear Yah's voice. We listen, we learn, we struggle to know. We walk with Yah through the mikray. Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me.
Well, those obviously are not the poor people celebrating Shabbat there on our intro. It is lovely to be here in our Shabbat show on Shabuw'ah. That's a lot of sevens, isn't it? Shabuw'ah, of course, is the promise of seven. It is seven Shabbat. Shabbat is both the numeral seven, but it also means promise in Hebrew, and it's the basis of Shabbat. So it's a pretty extraordinary day, and this is an extraordinary Shabuw'ah because this is the demarcation Shabuw'ah of the time of Israel's troubles. This is one of the most profoundly important events in the entire story, 6,000-year story that Yahweh conveys to his people. So it is a marvelous day. Shabbat, Shabbat to everyone. We probably should blow the shofar to get started on this evening's event. You have a shofar, I think, lined up, and of course we'll have Leah. There are 2 days each year that shofar is instrumental. Literally instrumental in recognizing the day. One of them is Shabbat, which is what we're celebrating now as the sun sets. It began at 7:30 p.m. in Israel as the sun set over Jerusalem. It is just beginning to set here where we are in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and will be setting for the rest of you as we progress through this program. And it's an extraordinary time because not very many people have the opportunity to live in their lifetime through one of the fulfillments of the 7 Moed Mikray of Yahweh. So we'll talk about what all that means and how it plays out. We have quite a cast of characters here up in the top. That is Kevin. You were with me for a couple of hours earlier today. You were the man who asked for signs of the Shabbat.
Yes, I did. And I got, 30 of them.
Probably 30 of them. Yeah, it was pretty interesting to see how many affirmations we have that we are exactly where the prophets said we were going to be. Fortunately, too, you're a man that has songs lined up. We're going to play Star Spangled Cosplay again because I just think it is absolutely delicious. The next song we're going to play is To Israel. It is a song that I wrote the lyrics for. Leah scored, and I'm not sure who did I think the graphics on that song were done
Deepo.
by our Nigerian friend, Deepo. So his next score after he did just an truly amazing job on Dusk to Dawn. That was the greatest presentation we have seen of anything in the Covenant family thus far. And then we have a third song, as I understand it, that will debut also this evening. Yahweh loves it when we sing his message, and we'll be ready to do so. We do see Wookie here deciding that he wants to move around, and since I have the 2 loaves of bread sitting here, that's not a bad thing to do, is to get him down. We'll put the Wookie cam on the loaves of bread. We had our Shabbat dinner earlier this evening, and waved the 2 loaves of bread. We blew our shofar. We had a delicious lamb meal, a little bit of wine, and so we are all ready to go. We have a surprise visit by Mike there from work. We didn't think we were going to hear from you in the near future, but it's good to see you again, Mike.
Good to be here. I was able to hook up my hotspot on my cell phone and log in that way.
Yeah, right. Lovely. Well, we're going to do after we play some songs, we're going to do a ask our co-host what Shabbat means to them as we engage in the 7-year time of Israel's troubles and how we think it'll play out. We have Rich in the purple shirt over here on the right side. How you doing there, Rich?
Doing fine.
He's doing fine. When a man tells you he's doing fine, that means that he's not doing so well. But you know, if I have too many jokes about Rich and his present condition, he'll cut the cable. So we'll be nice. We have and Rich likes to play injured. Well, he likes to play. So and since he's injured, that's just the way he's going to play. We have Will and his son Jake. Good to see you, fellas.
Hey, how are you? Jake's on a little bit of a delay here, and he's not mic'd in. I'm mic'd in, so he's sort of a wallflower right now.
All right. Well, his handsome wallflowers they go. Yeah. And we have Captain Kirk. You recovered from the grilling as a co-host as
that was
on
fun.
the Yahweh blog.
That was great fun. I love that. So
That's a fun show.
Let's say something stupid. It doesn't matter. You're there.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's that's the point of the show. We're going to talk. We're going to talk about what comes to mind and talk about what's important in the covenant family, what's important with Yahweh, what's important with His people, and what's coming up in the news. How it's playing out in prophecy. So it's a good time for that. And we have Dr. Jeff. You look like you are in the hospital. You're trying to keep people alive. Is that true, my friend?
It certainly is. Chag Sameach, my precious family.
Yeah.
Shabuw'ah Tov. Yeah.
Wonderful day celebrating Shabuw'ah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Today was an interesting day that I had my first case of somebody with xylene, which is a veterinarian tranquilizer overdose. So that's interesting.
I understand that thing that was just driving people, the homeless, just nutsoid in California, is they're mixing fentanyl with an elephant tranquilizer.
That's
the
it.
Combination of the two. That's it. Okay, so that was your first experience with it, because as I understand it, it's a pretty nasty combination. It renders you an effective zombie.
It's called Trank, Trank, where you combine the effects of the xylene with either fentanyl, methamphetamine, or heroin, and it's supposed to augment and intensify the high and euphoria.
God.
Better living through chemistry.
Yeah.
Better living, I think better living
stick to my beer,
through
thank you.
Yahweh works better for me. But everybody's got their free will. I've always believed that drugs should be discouraged but legal. I've never thought that drugs should be illegal. I think anytime you make something illegal, you increase the likelihood that somebody is going to abuse it, and you create a market for those who are criminal to sell it. And I don't care if it's legal or illegal. There's always going to be those that meet the demand, and the price goes up and the crime goes up and everything bad goes up if you make it illegal. It's just like prohibition didn't do much good, did it?
No.
So I'd have all drugs be legal and all drugs be stupid, with exception of my drugs of choice. I happen to I'll have my iced tea, my coffee, and so occasionally a nice glass of wine, which we had for dinner tonight on Shabuw'ah. JB, we missed you last week. Good to see you again, pal.
Doing good. Yeah. Great listening to Mariah's story, though, and her husband. That was really fun. I really enjoyed the vlogs this week with the rotating guest hosts. I think that's a really good format.
Yeah. I like it so much better when we have rotating guests, and we can rotate. Anybody that wants to play at it's 11 o'clock Monday through Friday East Coast time, and if you're available to contribute, love to have you. Clearly, we're going to have Kirk back. Roger's already done too. Matt's done too. Matt drives up our ratings because he's a beloved character, and Roger is the eloquent one that is really up on the news, and that makes him. He's probably about as easy for us as anybody. We've had Noah on that program too, and we've had Shannon. of course, it's a delight to have Shannon because he is
Such a good guy.
He's literally Mr. Covenant. He is
Social.
clearly, he is officially the greeter of the Covenant. So what a thrill it was to have him back on it. And of course, Noach's story is marvelous. Yeah, he's a lot of depth there. So it's fun for us too. So we would encourage more participants in the vlog on the vlog. And the nice thing about the vlog on the vlog too, if you go and an hour before or half an hour before you check up on the Facebook page that we used to load it, you can read all about what we're going to talk about. So you're up to speed before we go, and you can even do a cheater and Google some of this stuff and have a fun fact you can show. So you're welcome to do it. We now have Leah and the white seat. Yeah, how you doing there,
Happy
Leah?
Shabuw'ah, everyone.
Yeah, you're all dressed up for Shabuw'ah. Yeah. We'll have to get Leah to blow the shofar a little bit later. She's spectacular with it. Well, you get to introduce your songs. And we have 3 that are going to play this evening.
That's quite the lineup.
It is quite the lineup.
Are you just
get
shoving them all in?
Yes. We're obviously going to play again Star Spangled cosplay because this is Shabuw'ah. It marks the time of Israel's troubles. And nothing is more germane to that. The single most important aspect of that is the rise of Satan and his influence over the world in Israel. That is the single most important aspect of Shabuw'ah. So
yes, he is our troublemaker.
He is the troublemaker. He is the great betrayer. So we'll play Star Spangled cosplay again. You can start with that if you'd like, and talk a little bit about your inspiration for it, and then we can go to
inspiration.
The other 2. Yes,
my undying hatred for the clown.
Your undying hate. Was it? Is it the Epstein part where he was a pedophile and rapist and a womanizer?
I'm a child of the 80s. I went to New York. Everyone knew who he was because he was trying to hang out with the cool kids, but not being a cool kid.
Oh, he is not a cool kid.
Definitely not. He was a clown then, and he's even worse of a clown now.
The worst kind of clown. He's a pervert. Everybody knows when they went to high school in particular. There's always a few really creepy kids that are just pervs. That would be Donald Trump. He's the creepy kid that was a perv.
Yeah, he even thought his own daughter was a hot piece. So you know what?
He said, if you put my daughter, I'd be having sex with her. She's hot. He's a genuine perv. But the fact that he's a perv is just has him fit right in with the other demonic characters we know. Paul, the author of the first 14 books of the Christian New Testament, admitted that he was a sexual pervert. Wrote about it, celebrated it, blamed it on the Torah, mind you. And of course, you can't get to be more perverted than was Muhammad. I mean, he was incestuous. He was a pedophile. He was a rapist. He was a mass murdering terrorist and a slave trader, and a womanizer, and it couldn't be more perverted. So Satan has a type.
Oh, he does. He does. And Melania, she fits right in there.
Yeah, might be she's a whore, but she doesn't. She got more play in this Star Spangled cosplay than I probably would have given her. But she definitely is the perfect wife for.
She knows Satan. More than you think.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. Yeah. So let's play it again. The tune is a. It's scored based upon the Star Spangled Banner, but done in a reggae style. And you'll just have to, because the lyrics are there, you'll be able to see them, and you'll see how Leah managed to twist all of the key phrases to tell the story, and it's a marvelous twist of phrase using those 2 memes as the backbone of this song.
It's very punny.
Yeah, it is funny. The graphics are really good. And at the end, when it's talking about a country to invade, the country that he's going to invade that we care about, which is why we play it on Shabuw'ah, is Israel. So that is who it is. So let's play Star Spangled Cosplay.
just ask the Donald cult. It's all fake news that he a bad guy. Wonderful, wonderful. In star-spangled banner, shit-stained underwear. Believe me, we're going to drain the swamp. I've never seen anything like it. So much fake news, calling it a witch hunt. Just because we say the system is too big to rig. Oh baby, that's old school, but we're doing it anyway to make America great again. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last ride? Whose broad lies and alibis through the perilous night? Oh, the YouTube we watched so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in Iran, gave proof through the Epstein files that Trump's name was still there. Oh, say, does that copper con man wave that star-spangled banner yet that way? Oh, the land of the arrogant and the home of the dead slaves. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the arrogance. And one more thing, can I invade your country? Oh baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, invade your country. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed Satan at Rahab last right? Whose broad sex trafficking ring went on through the decades? Oh, the Truth Social we watched, so doom scrolling our doom, and the corruption, the theft, the murders and lies, the alibis gave proof through the evidence that Trump's name is still there, allegedly and unredacted. It's all predicted. Predators, grifters, unfuckables, and the cosplay president. I am predicated on who's your daddy. Oh, say, does that copper conman wave that star-spangled banner yet? Oh, the land of the deceived and the home of the lame. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free. And one more thing, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, baby, can I invade your country? Oh, baby, let's invade. Believe me, we're going to drain the swamp. I've never seen anything like it. So much fake news, like my wife, it's all fake. Oh, calling it a witch hunt just because we say the system is too big to rig. Oh, baby, that's old school, but we're doing it anyway to make America great again.
Love the mix master at the end of that too. That's pretty darn good. So that there is a proper perspective on this. There isn't anybody in this group that would be considered a Democrat Marxist advocate for woke or anything of that nature. We are not saying this because we are in the political left and we dislike Trump for that reason. We say this because we're students of the prophets. And students of the prophets, we were able to deduce the fact that Trump is Satan, that he is the corporeal manifestation of the devil that was foretold by the prophets thousands of years ago. And they gave us very specific instructions as to how to deduce this man's arrival, what his characteristics would be like. And if you were to turn to the Time of Trouble volume of Yada, it's over here with my Shabbat bread, but in this particular volume of Yada, what you will find is that everything that you need to know about who the Antichrist is and how we came to know that Trump is the great betrayer, specifically what the prophets had to say about him, is all there. And we've known it now for almost 2 years. So we reveal this because we know it to be true. We're not pretending that he is just twisted and demonic. We know that he is demon possessed and that over the next 7 years, he's going to be the most horrible person who has ever lived. He is going to be far worse than Muhammad and Paul and Genghis Khan, Kublai Khan, Hadrian, Nero, Caligula. You put them all together, Mao Zedong, Hitler, Satan, or Stalin. Trump is going to be worse than all of them. And billions of people are going to die. Economies are going to be ruined. Israel is going to be betrayed. And that is the most important thing we can tell you about the beginning of the time of trouble that begins this evening on Shabuw'ah and lasts 7 years, is that's the prime culprit. That's Satan.
There is a little bit of a problem with even identifying him, and that is the Christians. With their everyone's an antichrist, the sky is falling, Chicken Little, it's Chicken Little. So when it really does happen, people are just going to be so apathetic towards it. However, this is the deal. He is the person that will bring the world and Israel to its knees.
Correct. The thing that's the oddest part of the whole thing is something that I actually predicted almost 10 years ago. When I was writing the books called Twistianity and also Goddamn Religion regarding the frauds that are Muhammad and Paul, one of the things I came to realize is that this character that Christians have been calling the Antichrist is going to be modeled after them. It's going to be essentially indistinguishable from them. And so what I predicted was that, in particular, Christians are going to rally around him. They're going to vote for him. They're going to present him as the next Messiah. And you look at the MAGAs who are mentally ill, they are absolutely worshiping the devil. And that was predictable. We foretold that was going to happen. And it has everything we have said about what's happening in the world, and particularly to Israel and regarding this man, has proven to be precisely accurate. We've made hundreds and hundreds of very detailed predictions over the last 25 years. And not a single one of the things that I said was going to occur has proven to be false. Every single prediction. I haven't predicted what was going to happen October 7th in Israel. And I've predicted what's going to happen again next year, and how the Alaska 2.0 will be much more vicious. So we've got this right. You ought to listen to us. We haven't gotten anything wrong up to this point, and I don't think it's going to change. All right, we have a remedy for that bad boy. And by the way, I think it's important to know that when he made the declaration yesterday that he is eventually going to Israel, that he has a 99% approval rating, and that he will become prime minister of Israel.
Gross.
He wasn't kidding.
No.
Of his popularity, that's the closest he's ever been to reality. So we have to give him some credit on that. His popularity in Israel is 78%. So 99, pretty close for him.
It's close for him. Yeah.
Yeah, actually very close for him. And he is going to Israel, not soon. He's going to survive the midterms, and he is not going to leave office in 28.
Oh, no.
He is leaving America to go to Israel to be prime minister of Israel in January of 2030. And he's going to declare that he is God on the Ides of March of that year. And then he will be confronted by the two witnesses. They arrive on Passover, April 18th of 2030. His reprehensible existence will continue, although ultimately, according to Gabriel, who was Dode, he will be riding in a wheelchair with really fancy wheels, with his comb over hair, and by Ezekiel, his copper con, that his copper hue as he measures up the grandiose buildings that he wants to pave over the Capitol with. But everything they said about him is proven to be true. So that's why we share that. Now, there is a remedy for that. Unfortunately, there isn't anyone in Israel that's willing to accept that remedy, but we're going to introduce a song. You've heard the lyrics of this song twice because I've shared them on the vlog. I wrote the lyrics to this song, and it's incorporated into Coming Home, Volume 4, and I think other volumes as well. Coming Home Volume 4 was just sent to our beloved webmaster to prepare for publication on our site. So it'll be there soon. I probably will have Coming Home 5 ready for pre-pub on the site sometime tomorrow. And the first 2/3 of Coming Home 6 will be available also over the weekend as we continue to add material to the site. So that is our plan. All right. With that said, Leah, would you like to introduce To Israel?
Yes. It was a song produced directly from your poem. All I did was score some music to it, and Aladi Papu, he did all the visuals for that. And it came up, it's a very, very nice.
Yeah, Aladi has marvelous skill. This was a exceedingly hard song to convert it's a very hard poem to convert to song.
Yes.
Because it was written as a poem, not as lyrics for a song, first of all. And second of all...
Do you want to know how many hours it took?
Yeah, it was in God's voice. And Leah does, she has women's voices down really well. And occasionally we'll do a good duet with a man. But conveying a masculine voice that is God angry with his people is not in Leah's wheelhouse. So this was tough to do. You have scores of hours in it, I would imagine.
I think in this one I have about 380 hours.
380 hours. Okay. Well, it is a song. It's called To Israel, and because it's To Israel I Came. And it is about Yahweh's name, the single greatest crime ever perpetrated by humanity was perpetrated by Jews. Mm-hmm. They erased Yahweh's name. They erased Yahweh's name from their lives, from their religion, from their scriptures, and from their very name. They are Yehud, which means beloved of Yah, and Yehudim, and they changed their name to Jews to erase Yahweh's presence among them. They estranged themselves from God 3,450 years ago and are still estranged. And so many problems exist between Yahweh and his people. But first and foremost of them is they erased his name. And it has been my mission to reestablish Yahweh's name. And in the Yada Yahweh series, I have been able to prove that Yahweh is God's name, been able to show conclusively that this is the proper pronunciation of Yahweh's name. And we've been doing that now for 25 years. And so this is a song about that life's mission, written from God's perspective.
Yehovah is my name. To Israel I came. You denied my acclaim. You fled my flame. You erased my name. When I was your God and doubt your king, there was a different song to sing. To the Goyim you did not cling. You were shielded from their sting. Isolated and hated, you are battered. Your dreams are shattered, the nation is tattered. My words have not mattered. It is all there in the Mikra. There is no reason to have gone astray. They are the way. Join me on Shabuw'ah, I say. I have openly conveyed the signs of the Modim, from whose brilliance you should beam, and yet all agleam with your own scheme. You have chosen a wholly different team. Yehovah is my name. To Israel I came. You denied my acclaim. You fled my flame. You erased my name. With doubt as your Messiah, as foretold in Isaiah, you are not a pariah. Have you read Jeremiah? Doubt is his name. To Israel he came. You denied his acclaim. You robbed him of his fame. What a shame. Who served as the lamb, whose blood is on the door jamb? Do you need a diagram? Do you even give a damn? Do you know the son who was given? For what has he striven? How are you to be forgiven? What is your decision? Doubt is his name. To Israel he came. You denied his acclaim. You robbed him of his fame. Have you no shame? This need not be the end of the story. You have been called to glory. To my covenant be a signatory. Respond to this allegory. If you wish to be replevin, let's remove your leaven. It's on the basis of 7 that I can bring you to heaven. So this is the story of my luminaries. Even as they have become your adversaries, when they serve as my great emissaries, and with whom I've compiled esteemed libraries. Yahweh is my name. To Israel I came. Accept my acclaim. Embrace my flame. Reinstate my name.
Good.
Yeah, that'll take your breath away. The reason that it goes in between Yahweh, and it is Yahweh, not Yehovah, it's important because each of the 4 letters conveys a sound. The Yod conveys the Y sound, and the Ah sound is from the Hey. The O sound is from the Wa, and the last concluding Ah sound is from the concluding Hey. The reason that Dod's name is intermixed in there is that Israel has done the same to the firstborn of Yahweh as it has done to Yahweh himself. They changed his name. They made it David. There's no V in Hebrew. There's no I in his name. It's Deleth, Wa, Deleth. The name means beloved. God said that he was his firstborn son. That's because he happens to be Adam. He's been here before many times and will return again. And yet in Judaism, you say God's a liar when he says that he has a son.
That they do.
He is the Messiah, and yet you don't credit him for that. God had him anointed 3 times and anointed him himself once with his own special anointing oil. He is the Messiah. There's no other Messiah that matters. He is the king that was chosen by God. He is the chosen one. He is literally the basis of the covenant. God says he is not only exemplar of the covenant, but he is the one through whom God karat, established and cut the covenant. He's our Savior. He is the one who fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bekurim, opening the doorway to life, taking our guilt and depositing it into Sheol on Matzah, and then becoming the firstborn son of firstborn children on Bekurim.
Is this where I get to say that Dode is kabod?
He's
a big
kabod.
deal.
Yeah, he's not only kabod, he is the greater luminary.
Gadol Meor.
Gadol Meor. He is the most important person in God's story. And Israel has raped him. You denied that he was the one that fulfilled Passover being crucified, even though he wrote an entire song about how he was going to be crucified. You denied that he was here in 33 CE. In fact, you can't even figure out the date, even though when he visited with Daniel in 555 BC as Gabriel, he gave you the precise date that he was going to fulfill Chag Matzah. But you screw that up because you don't even celebrate matzah. You don't even know what matzah is. You just screwed it all up. You erased his father's name, Yahweh. What is the third statement that's written in stone say about those who negate the value of Yahweh's name?
Unforgivable.
You will be brought to nothingness.
Unforgivable. You claim to read the Torah. You claim that on Shabuw'ah you spend all night reading the Torah. How come you can't read that? What's wrong? Why can't you read that? That's what it says. Why can't you read that when God introduced himself to Moshe at the burning crag, it wasn't a bush, the burning crag on Choreb, when he introduced himself to Moshe, he told Moshe that Yahweh is my name. It's the only name that I will ever be known and remembered by. He didn't say my name is Hashem. He didn't say my name is Adonai. He said my name is Yahweh. You claim to be Torah observant and you can't observe when God tells you that's my name. And you think it was appropriate to erase it when the third statement in stone says, if you negate the value of my name, I will never forgive you. In fact, the system that Jews use to erase the pronunciation of Yahweh's name is called Shova. It's based on the verb shoah. And the verb shoah is the one that's repeated twice in the third statement that Yahweh etched in stone to tell you don't do that. And the whole Masoretic concept of the Masoretic text and your damn corruption of the Torah uses the Shoah system, which, by the way, means to deceive, to negate, to defraud. That's what I say in that song. I want you to know God is exceedingly disappointed. You erased his name. You even erased his name from your name. You call yourself Jews when he called you Yahud. And Yahud is a compound of Yahweh and Dode. It's why you are estranged. It's why you're going to go through 7 years of trouble. This is why this is the Shabuw'ah countdown for the time of Yaakov's trouble, is because you have deliberately done this. And if you're a Jew and you're a victim of it, shame on you. It's easy to figure out. Why don't you figure it out?
Mr. Burning Crag, I have the answer.
Yeah, I am the burning crag. That is for damn sure.
Mr.
There's a
Burning.
reason I'm told that I am to wear red, and the reason I wear red is that I am that damn burning crag. You better believe it.
I believe the answer is blind, dumb, lame, and deaf. That is the answer. It's been that way for a very long time.
Jews have been their own worst enemy for a very, very long time.
Yes.
And Craig, I must add that the bookend to Shabuw'ah, that's Teruah, when you are Adama Parah,
It is.
what you revealed this past week with Yashaya 30 was beyond comprehension. There will be a remnant, but
Yes,
for
there will.
them and those to carry on worse than they did in the desert is one of the most hurtful, despicable, disgusting, and reprehensible things I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah, what my friend Dr. Jeff is alluding to here is that we recently translated Yeshaya 30, Isaiah 30, for one of the three books. It's the end of Coming Home For. And in it, there are some real surprises. One of those surprises is there is a reference to the two luminaries. And the two luminaries are the first prophecy in the Torah. They're presented in Genesis 1, chapter 1. And in Genesis 1, the prophecy is in the fourth day, and it says that there will be two Maorith luminaries. They're both Gadol, great from God's point of view. One is younger than the other. And that they will serve to fulfill the Moedim, of which there are 7, of which Judaism has screwed them all up, and Christianity is clueless to all of them. And when you follow the story of the greater and lesser luminaries through the text, you find something that is heartbreaking. And Yeshaya 30, I think that is what you're alluding to, where there's two aspects of it that are painful. And one of them is that God doesn't call the sun and the moon Cheresh or by the normal Hebrew terms.
No Shemesh, no Shemesh, no Yereach.
Yeah, no Yereach, no Shemesh. No, he uses two different words. And for the moon, he referred to the moon as being white and pure. And not shining brightly, not covered in blood at this point, but white and pure. That he is going to be the one that whitens the treacherous garments worn by Jews and cleans them up for God's arrival and purifies their soul. And he's doing the best he can under really difficult circumstances, and he's ultimately going to allow that scumbag that we did the first song on. He's going to allow him to kill him as the Adama Parah. That's chapter 19 of Numbers, on behalf of purging the adulterous woman of Numbers 5 for Dod's arrival, because she's going to be Dod's bride. Dod, however, is angry. He's beside himself as this. So he is not referred to as the son. He is referred to as the one who is enraged. 7 times more enraged than he or anyone has ever been before. And he's enraged because Israel, as Satan, this Rahab, the one that is going to come to Israel and become prime minister and going to be beloved by Jews, who is actually Satan, I'm going to allow him to strike me down as the Adama Parah, to be the sacrifice on Teruah to purge Israel. And when that happens, rather than be appreciative of what I'm doing for them, preponderance of Jews are going to be cheering for Rahab, for Satan. And Dod's...
Isn't that what they did to Dod?
Yeah, they're gonna just be absolutely disgusted.
So am I.
That's what they're going to be. So that part's amazing. The other part that was amazing about all of this, Dr. Jeff, is that as you know, in Rabbinic Judaism, they base their whole gig on, okay, times are tough for us. Now we're getting beat up. And it's obvious that we're not in God's good stead with God because everything is going bad. In fact, they actually have an edict of Judaism that says that when things are really bad for you, it means that God really loves you because he is and respects you because he knows that he can improve you through these terrible things that are happening to you. So they even have an excuse for why things continue to happen to them that are all bad. But
they have an excuse for being sadistic.
Yeah, they do. So they're at the end, they say that, but they've got a Messiah who's a warlord that's going to come and save them. You know that, don't you, Dr. Joe?
Mm-hmm. That is one of the most BS statements ever uttered by these miscreants.
It is. Because there is no prophecy of a warrior Messiah that is coming to save anyone.
No.
None. There's a lot of prophecies on who's going to save this mortal remnant of Israel, but that person's called the Nakar, sometimes the Nakri, sometimes the Choder, sometimes the Bashar, sometimes the Adam of Parah, sometimes the man from Edom. He's got a bunch of titles, but he is not a Messiah.
Correct.
And what's actually going to happen, according to God, in the 30th chapter of Yeshaya, is that the fella that's going to purge Israel of all that the Muslims who have come to destroy her, and there's going to be millions of them, the person that purges them is a goy.
Oh, it's going to be a good day.
And he's not a Messiah. He knows who he is. Really close to him. But it's a goy. Talk about, having to eat cold crow with feathers intact. It'd be pretty amazing. But and Dod's just livid. And he's livid for 7 days, which means he only calms down the last 3 days before his return. He is just beside himself to say, oh my God, these people are no different than they were under Moshe. There's no different than they were under me. They're impossible. And here's the man that I love the most, who restored my reputation, who reintroduced Yahweh's name, and they're mocking his brutal murder. Called the Day of the Slaughter.
That is piercing. That is absolutely piercing, Craig. And, those who don't do it, that's where the Zechariah 12:10 will come into be truthful and really mean something for those who understand and appreciate exactly what you have done so that Dode can accompany Yahweh on Kippur.
It's a lot, and he knows it's a lot, and God has the last card to play here, because those who have mocked Dode, Yahweh, raised Yahweh's name, and mocked me as I'm making a sacrifice for the well-being of this mortal remnant, guess who gets to judge them?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yep. Yeah, it's really a bad call, because
the divine rod of justice, among other things.
Be careful who you pick on.
You got to be careful who you pick
in the
on.
Parking lot before your trial, and then you get in there and find out the judge is the guy you yelled at.
Yeah, that's what they're going to find out. Oops.
I think there are a few people that are going to be afraid of his wife too.
Yeah. The thing that is just so sad amongst Jews is that they think that being Jewish is makes them special, and that Goy are inferior.
Oh.
And yet, what the thing that they just don't seem to be able to get through their thick skulls is that Adam, who was the firstborn of God, wasn't Jewish.
Okay.
No, nor was Joah. Noach, he wasn't Jewish either, nor with his wife, nor with his sons. Abraham wasn't Jewish.
Not at all.
Wasn't Jewish. Nope. Yishak wasn't Jewish.
Nope. Babylonians.
Yeah, they were all Babylonians. Everyone Babylonian. In fact, Noach through Shem gave birth to the Babylonians.
Yeah.
They're all Babylonians. There were no Israelis. We've gone through now 2,000 years from the garden to Abraham and the birth of Yishak and they're all Babylonians. And then when Yishak looked for a wife, they go to Haran to find him a Babylonian wife. And then, he has Jacob and Esau, and they send Jacob back up to the same place. Laban's going to be his daughter's descendant from Abraham and his family. Go find yourself a Babylonian wife. And so when he was renamed Israel, it didn't change his DNA, did it?
No.
He's still Babylonian.
Hardly.
And the children of the 4 Babylonian women and the Babylonian man were Babylonian, even if you want to call one of them Yahud. So it's a naming convention. It is a naming convention. And everybody early in the story was clearly not a Israelite. And once you get to Israel, it's all downhill. All downhill. The Jews didn't do anything right. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, the first 12 boys, they were obnoxious.
We're a good example of what not to do.
Yeah, they are. They're good, bad examples.
I find this ethnic favoritism and hubris and arrogance to be so distasteful. And I'm with Amma. I'm with Leah in that Yah is going to put it right in their faces,
yes.
Courtesy of Yashiyah 63, because you, the Choda, the Nakre,
the man from Edom, purge the immortal remnant, save them. Whoever gets saved of Israel, it's because of the man from Edom, and he's from Edom. He's not a Jew.
Before these, I don't know what to call them, descent to Sheol, they may let out the biggest oi you've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way too: the greatest woman by far in God's story.
Ruth.
She's Ruth. Yeah. She's Ruth. She's from Moab. Yeah. So, I don't care which way you turn. There are occasionally some really positive stories, but all the really positive characters, well, they're not Jews. So, then you say you want to celebrate the Torah. Well, the Torah tells the story first of how bad you were before you were even Jews. And then once the naming convention is issued and you become worse, you sell a brother into slavery. Well, your first trick is that we're going to convince our neighbors that they should get circumcised. And as soon as they get circumcised, we go attack them while they're still in pain so we can steal what's theirs.
Oh, you mean we're a bunch of liars, cheats, stealers, and manipulators?
Absolutely. Yeah, and then when you go to Mitzrayim and you start complaining you're being treated by slaves, you have somebody stand up for you, and Moshe, and you try to rat him out. You turn on him. And then you start the Exodus. You don't even get out of Egypt before you're telling Moshe and Yahweh to go away. And then you finally get back to even getting close to Choreb, and before you cross the Gulf of Aqaba, you're saying we want to go back. And then you get across and you're building a religious idol. And you never stop belly aching the whole time. You can't be worse than you were. And that's the story of Shabuw'ah. That's the reason it exists this way. It's saying that God is really tired of it. And he is going to clean house, and he's going to give you 7 years to get it right now, or there will be no tomorrow.
Must I remind you?
Worse.
Yes. Must I remind you the rabbinic types, which woman in the Torah they admire and revere?
Miriam.
Miriam, Moshe's sister.
The one that
and Rachel.
Yeah, the one that Yahweh said that she is so vile, I spit in her face, that I plague her with leprosy. I send her outside of the community, and she is the model for divorce, and they love her. And Rachel, the one that
bled on idols.
Yeah, bled on idols. So can we say they have it backwards?
I would say so. Yeah, erased Yahweh's name and yet have their own names in their Talmud, and they claim that their Talmud is Torah. No, it's not. No, it's not. There is no Hashem. He does not love you. And your Talmud is not Torah. And that everything that you do is wrong. Everything you do is wrong.
Masorites earlier. You look at it, though, they did the same thing that Chagwa did all the way back in Eden. And really, it's what happens with every religion ever, is the first thing they do is they add to God's word. And by doing so, they negate everything. And set themselves apart from all the promises and just ruin everything by adding to God's word. And that's what they did. Literally, they added their vowel pointing.
Well, they not only added their vowel pointing, the Talmud is nothing but is taking their interpretations and then having arguments about their interpretations, misquoting, misappropriating, and then writing arguments about their errant citations. I mean, the reason that Islam exists today is because of the stupidity of the Talmud and all of the ridiculous stories that made the Talmud, because they didn't like what God had to say, so they just wrote right over God's story and created their own, and then they sold them to Muhammad. And that's what made the Quran seem religious. Otherwise, there is no religiosity to the Quran, and there are no Islamic terrorists. There's no enemy in Iran.
Well,
no
Paul's
enemy in Syria.
Paul's Christianity is the same. It's nearly the same thing. The religion that they had right next door that the Israelites were whoring themselves out to is almost a carbon copy of Twistianity. It goes back that far. Yeah. We have been bad kids for a real long time.
You have bad kids for a really, really long time. And you're estranged from God and you got it all wrong. There's nothing you have right. Yep. And let's, with that said, we have another song lined up, don't we?
We do.
You want to tell us about what this song? I've never even seen this one or heard this one, so this is completely new to me.
Is this Luminaries, Kevin?
This one moves. Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. This is Luminaries.
Luminaries. Okay.
Luminaries. Yes, we have two of them.
So the luminary story is the story that's first prophecy in the Torah. It's the most important prophecy probably ever written about how the two luminaries would become signs of the Moedim. They would fulfill them over time. They would literally define time from God's point of view. And that if you know who those two men are, and they're being described as men because they fulfill the Moedim, then you know how God's story plays out over time. And who fulfilled the spring Moedim? Dowd, whose responsibility it is for Shabuw'ah and Teruah, so that Kippurim and Sukkah are possible. Let's play her.
First with courage, a shepherd's steady pace, be adored in vain, but to reveal Yahweh's name. Yada shows the path with the Torah pointing the way, turning shadows into sunrise, bringing night to the dead. Two luminaries shining on the road back home, kindness in the morning, truth in every tone. One light for the journey, one to make things clear. Yahweh's call is waiting, and the way is near. No incense to tyrants, no praise for man-made gods. Hear the music of a people singing their return home. Through the smoke of false religion, through the noise of pride and fear, two bright lights are rising, and the path is clear. When the world is cold and crooked and the weak are made to bend, there is Yahweh's voice that beckons. There is still a better, and not by power, not by posture, not by empire's hollow spark, but by light that names the darkness, and by truth that cuts the dark. Two luminaries shining on the road back home, loving kindness in the morning, truth in every word. One light for the journey, one light to make things clear. Yahweh's call is waiting, and the way is near.
I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty neat too.
Sure.
Journeying through the road of life to the tune of the two luminaries. There's really no overstating the importance of the Gadol and Katan Mayor. They appear everywhere in prophecy, and God's dropping their titles as Gadol and Katan everywhere. I mean, it's even in the famous prophecy in Yeshaya 31.
Essentially, it's the first prophecy, isn't it?
It is the first prophecy in the Torah, and it is the ending. All of the end prophecies end with the interaction between the sun and the moon. And the moon is not called bloody because of a eclipse and the reddish hue. It's called bloody because the man that is in that role is savagely beaten to death on Teruah as the final sacrifice.
It's unbelievable how prominent the two luminaries really are. This is a story largely about Yahweh's two luminaries and everything they went through to pull back a remnant from the abyss. And it started with Yahweh's own son Dode. He had to be sort of rescued here. But it is true. Once you see that it's the Katan Mayor and the Gadol Mayor, you see it everywhere. I mentioned that with the paradigm shifts. Once you have that shift, it's everywhere. It's like, how did I that's great. How did I not see that before?
Yes. Yeah, that's my view. I love the shofar, and Leah can play it. I can't. Because I'm supposed to be the shofar, and she's been my wife for the last 6,000 years. So I keep her around for a lot of reasons, but one is to blow the shofar. Once you come to realize that God has a half a dozen characters and that those characters are reinserted in the story because there's so few people that God has found that he can trust. And that's the bottom line here. They don't have to be perfect. They can make mistakes. They just have to finish the job. They have to be devoted to Yahweh, observant, thoughtful, responsive, and devoted. And, you know, that's what Adam failed in the garden as Yahweh's firstborn. He didn't listen. He wasn't responsive, wasn't particularly thoughtful. And when he made a mistake, rather than learning from it, he doubled down. And so God had to boot him out of the garden. It wasn't that he was trying to be mean to him, but you know, if you have a son or daughter that's not growing up in home, the only thing you can do to save them is to send them out of home and give them some advice and recognize they're going to have to fall down and get back up and develop some character and work for a living to have any value. And that's the story of the garden and why they were kicked out. And then when that happened, God immediately said, "Oh boy, I regret creating man." And what he said is, "I regret creating man because when there is many men, they are all bad all of the time." And that's the story of history. Man. Fortunately, there were individuals who disassociated from the larger whole. Chinook was the first of them. Noach was the next. And they appear throughout God's story. Same characters. They are the two luminaries. And there are times when things get really bleak, when God wants to end the entire human experience because many men are worse than one man could have possibly have been. And he just said, "This is a mistake. Let's just end it." And yet he had somebody that he was able to trust previously. Chinook brought him back. Chinook's Noach. They get her done. They saved Nasalma man. And then when it gets really, really dark, the darkest I think that the human experience ever got is when the firstborn, who is Dot, returns as the 8-year-old shepherd boy, and he is anointed to be Messiah and the chosen one and king of Israel. And almost everything he does from the time that he slays Goliath, that was a pretty good deal there, man. He put his mouth where his trust was. He gave Goliath the lip. 1 stone. That was it. Pretty impressive. But after that, not so good. He becomes a fugitive in his own country. He doesn't have the courage to stand up against Shaul. And he just run ragged. And he makes a bunch of bad choices, including one time pretending to be insane, another time becoming a vassal of the Philistines. Finally, he becomes king, and one of the first blunders he makes, he's hiding in the cave, and he tells his mightiest warriors that he misses the taste of the water in Bethlehem. "Go get me a cup." And God's response was, that's when they really had a falling out. God's response is, "That's not blood for what you did. Pour it out on the ground." And it went downhill from there. Dod came into Jerusalem, had way too many wives and concubines already, and he got a bunch more. And he bungled the moving of the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem. Had a fit when God was trying to convey what was going to happen prophetically in his future with the bull pulling the Ark of the Covenant. And he missed the whole point and got mad at God. And God said, "All right, well, then you're going to have a timeout." And then they have that whole conversation about who builds houses and who lives in them. And hey, big boy, you're not going to build me a house. Let's just keep it real clear. This is your future, and I'm going to take care of you. But at this point, you need to know you're not building me a house. And boy, from that point on, man, it just spirals out of control. Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. Dod's eldest son rapes his daughter, and Dod doesn't do a damn thing about it. He's a crappy father. And then, he is Absalom turns and on a coup against him, and he flees rather than standing up against him. And then when he's killed, he cries like a baby. And then you have the Bathsheba affair, which is just a disaster. He has a good man killed. And so it got so bad that God and Dode weren't talking to each other. They hadn't talked to each other for like 15 years. And that was the point that God reinserted the other luminary. At that time, it's called Ethan Hajraki, which means often deployed, well-trained. And he came back with his wife, who is known in the story as the Amma. And it's the whole story of the last Mizmor of the 31st Mashal, trying to restore the relationship between, because if that's not restored, there is no humanity. There's nothing. He doesn't fulfill Pesach, Matzah, Bekurim. There's no salvation. There's no knowing God. God's going to walk away from the planet, saying that humanity was not worth it. And we solved it through the 89th Mizmor. We co-authored it together and delivered it. Powerful piece of literature ever written, explaining exactly who Dode is. So really important time. And the luminaries were joined again when they gave the prophecy to Daniel. That's who Gabriel and Michael are, the two luminaries. And you see one of the two of them with his wife in the story of Boaz and Ruth. And then you realize it's Boaz and Ruth that are the mother and father of Dode. So you got the two luminaries again in 2 BCE, so he could grow up to fulfill Pesach, Matzah, and Bekurim in 33 CE. And then the lesser luminary returns 32 years before Dode returns to restore Dode's reputation and Yahweh's name, so that they can celebrate their great homecoming. And then they return post Shabuw'ah side by side. Brilliant, as the two luminaries returning on Kippurim, be side by side forevermore, beginning on Sukkah. So it's Will, you're right. It is the story. It is the very heart of God's story. And while Dode is the firstborn son, the lesser luminary, he's also a son.
Craig, I must say that, as you know better than anybody, how the most popular religion ever conceived by man, Christianity, has in their gospels, the only way to the Father is through the Son. Let's get this straight.
Because the Son actually was the one who fulfilled Pesach, Matzah, and Bekurim. There's nothing new in Christianity. It's a counterfeit of the truth.
But what I want to do, what I just realized is how it's not ironic. It's just the way it is that it is through the Etz Hada'at that you get to the Etz HaChaim. It is through the Nakah and the Choda that you get to Dode, which is tantamount to getting to know Yahweh. Correct. Ergo, it is through you at this point in time, this moment.
It is.
That serves that critical function. So there you go, Christians, in your face.
Yeah, you can't get to Dode without the Choda, without the Nakri. And if you don't get to Dode, you can't get to Yahweh. That is the lesser and greater luminaries of fulfilling the Moedim. That is God's story. So pretty powerful. So anyway, it's a beautiful song. And the visuals in that song were spectacular too. I think that's Mariah. We are going to have to work on our vocals, getting it trained to say Yahweh. And the 4 letters in Yahweh's name are all vowels. Each one of them has their own sound. So the Y is like the Y in yes, yeah. And the first syllable there would be ah, and as in haya, but ah, and the ah is from the hey. The hey does not have any influence on the wah sound. So it's not Yaho, it's Yah-O, because the O sound comes from the wah. That's the third letter and it's the third vowel. And then you have the last ah sound at the end. So it's Yah-O-Wah. not Yahovah. And you might say, well, what's the difference? Listen, God would much prefer us make an effort to pronounce his name and get it wrong than he would have us negate it much. And as absolute proof of that, the man that he chose to introduce his name to the world had a speech impediment. So there you go. That's absolute proof that that's God's point of view on all of this. But it's not difficult to know how to pronounce his name. You look at the word Torah. You get the O in Torah from the Wa. Look at the word Shalom. You get the O in Shalom from the Wa. We've been studying the prophet Yoel. The O sound in Yoel is from the Wa. And there are scores of Hebrew words with the Wa, with the sound pronounced O. And Haya explains how to pronounce the other letters, as does the Ah sound at the end of Torah. But Haya is the verb that underscores the meaning of Yahweh's name, which means to exist. And Hi, Yah. So God's pretty clear. That's his name. He says it's the only way he wants to be remembered. He gave his name to Moshe. It's right in the middle of the Torah. You can't claim to be Torah observant and not know Yahweh's name. And if you don't say Yahweh's name and you claim to be Torah observant, you're a liar. If you claim that you have a relationship with or serving in any way or speaking for God and you're not using Yahweh's name, you're a liar. That's one of the reasons we know the Christian New Testament's trash. It was inspired by Satan, not God. You don't see Yahweh's name in it. Same thing is true with the Quran. Same thing is true with the Talmud. Now, just using Yahweh's name is not enough to demonstrate that you are speaking for Yahweh. A lot of, Satan wants to be perceived as Yahweh. So he'll use his name. He does so all the way through Ezekiel, does so through Job, and makes a bunch of claims. I think the book of Haggai, the one who wrote about the building of the second temple, I think it's full of it. I don't think any of it's true. And it, a couple of places, only 2 pages long, but it talks about the, word of Yahweh came to me, and I think it's untrue. It says that all the way through Ezekiel, and we know it's untrue. So just knowing Yahweh's name is not enough. Satan knows Yahweh's name. No. But if you don't know Yahweh's name, you're in serious trouble because you do not have a relationship with him.
It gets you in the game, right? Knowing his name. Gets you in the game, and then you got to go from there. Yes.
It's like circumcision. Having it doesn't get you in, but not having it gets you out.
How about that? That's precisely correct. Not having it keeps you out. Erasing it sends you into the black hole that is Sheol. So erasing it sends you into the black hole of Sheol. Not knowing it keeps you out. And knowing it at least gives you, that's the first step in the right direction. That's the reason why the very first thing we did as part of the Yahweh series 25 years ago is reintroduce Yahweh's name. It was essential. That's why we call it Yada, to know Yahweh. So, pretty essential. So what do you think, Kevin? Now you've seen the signs of Shabuw'ah. What do you expect is going to happen? How's this all going to play out?
How's it all going to play out? Well, we talked kind of earlier about everyone's ideas of what was going to happen. And I've got to say that I'm probably one of the few people that's the best positioned for another year of Jacob's troubles, for the beginning of it, because this has been my life, sans Yada Yahweh, since 2010. I was planning my life around things going really, really bad, so now it's kind of nice not to have to worry about things going really, really bad, that all those plans and all those things that he's not going to get to use any of the toys. I'm not going to get to pull out any of the toys and do any of that stuff, so it's a good savings account, I guess. I think the best thing that I heard today was the bittersweet nature of Shabuw'ah. Because it is a chag, it's a celebration, it's a festival. I mean, it's come out of your house time, right? Meet with
wave the loaves. We have our loaves over here. Maybe we can get them with the Wookiee cam, and we waved the loaves and had a marvelous dinner celebrating Yep, absolutely, Shabuw'ah. So, yeah, in that
Yeah.
part, and it's a harvest of mature grain. So God's going to bring those people that He's come to know and trust to Shamayim, and it's actually a plus even for Yisrael, because without this, they're not returning. They need this to return.
Yes. Yeah. The bittersweet nature of it was the 2 out of 3, I think, for me, knowing that you could be so close, you're just right there, and never taking the opportunity, 2 out of 3 olives that just not going to make it, and it's tough medicine, but matzah is a chag as well. And matzah's bittersweet. I mean, there was some tough work done on matzah,
Yeah, we talked about this morning. In fact, I think it was yesterday when you were saying, there's going to be some kind of a sign for Shabuw'ah. And I said, well, what kind of a sign was there for Pesach when Dode fulfilled it? If you were in the neighboring village, if you were in Bethlehem, did you see anything?
No.
And no. In fact, all they managed to do is ignore who was on it, who was on that torture stick. So there was no fanfare, was there? A gruesome murder of a useless body. Body was discarded. That was fine. And then on Matzah, which is the key day, nobody had a clue what was happening. You've got the 2 religions born out of this, and neither one of them have a clue as to what happened on Matzah. So obviously no fanfare there, and there's no fanfare on Bikurim. So you want to know, those were the 3 fulfillments. They just passed right by with very few people even noticing. So when Yeshaya speaks of who's going to notice what's happening on Shabuw'ah, he says nobody. And he says there'll be a group that are taken. They'll be brought to a very good place. And it's going to be extraordinarily satisfying for them. But for those who are left, they're either not going to know, or they're going to wring their hands wondering, why were we left? And he says for that group, because they knew what was going to happen, and they're now wringing their hands as to why we were left, he says, that group I'm going to send to Sheol. So why would we expect Shabuw'ah to be any different?
Yeah, saving the fireworks up for Teruah, aren't we?
Teruah there's so many fireworks on Teruah. As I said, you could do 20 hours just talking about what is going to happen on Teruah. Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary. And I'm positive that there's so much more to it. Like, for example, I did not know on Teruah that God says on the day prior, that's when we go out and God stays in character. And rather than being the one who incinerates all of those who have come to harm Israel, we do it. It's us. No, we're empowered by Yahweh. And at that point, we are super dimensional. And so we can look, speak, think drastic changes to the 3-dimensional world. And we eliminate them. And then God comes behind us and washes all the debris away. So you're prepared. You're ready to go. Your wood stockpile is high as it needs to be. You are conditioned. You're just ready to go.
Yep. My shoes are tied tight, and I got my stick sitting over here behind me, so I'm ready to go anytime.
Okay, there we go. What about you, Mike?
I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? You ready to work too?
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do as much as we can between now and the time we go, but we are we're certainly ready to go. I made it really clear when talking to Yahweh these last few days to say, there's no chance I can finish the job if you were to take us now. So I'd ask that you hold off, please. Let's not do this until it has to be done next year. Give us another year to finish what we're doing, because we're just at a point now where things are really clicking, where we can make a tremendous difference, where many of us are getting engaged and making a contribution. This is such a great time. Let us finish. We want to leave a wonderful legacy. And if you give us the time, we can do that. So what do you think, Will?
I think there's a couple of different things that I've been thinking about this week. You know, like Kevin alluded to, it's on the one hand, it's Shabuw'ah is such an exciting time. It's about enrichment. It's about empowerment. It's about God fulfilling His promises to do those things as adopted children. It's the second harvest. But this Shabuw'ah is particularly sobering, and what we're looking at over the next year. For us, we'll be here for another year. It looks like it's the next 7 years is going to be completely devastating. But it also seems that I'm looking forward to the combination of being enriched and empowered, and also having sort of the wind to our back, blowing our sails. Because I think as things get worse around us, the hope is that what we have to say will resonate even more, and that will be, again, like a wind at our back. So I look forward
the
to
seas
to that.
are going to get rougher. The seas will get rougher. The storms will be more menacing, but we will have the wind to our back.
Yeah.
And we're prepared. We know the world's going to get really messed up.
Yeah, I mean, this is our time. I mean, it's almost like, we've been training for this. Some people have been training for 20 years for this, but this is our time. It's showtime.
Yeah, we're trained. We're prepared. We're sober about what we have to do. We're ready to do it, and we know how it's going to turn out, and we know how hard it's going to be to get a mortal remnant of Israel ready to go. Yeah. This is no easy task, and we have to stay vigilant to get it done, and we have to be prepared that 99.9% of them are going to spit in our face.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We saw that on Twitter, right? We had our experiences on Twitter. On X, rather.
Yeah, on X.
That's what you're going to be looking at,
Exactly. On X, it was all the time. No matter how you were trying to help people out. And, when we told Israel back the time when they were fawning all over Donald Trump, when he was going to turn Gaza into resorts and move the Gazians into Sinai and into Jordan, and oh boy, he is our guy, and he was the one that was saying Hamas has to release the hostages or they'll be all hell to pay. And he had all this rhetoric, and they say, oh yeah, he is our, and it kept on saying, no, he is Satan. He is the great betrayer. Stop this. If you continue to believe him, you're going to destroy Israel. And that's what they've done. Right? Israel is chomping at the bit right now to bomb Iran again. And this time they're going to have to do it alone. And it's just hard to imagine smart people making such foolish decisions. That's their, and I think it's like a 70% approval that the Israelis want to start bombing Iran again. I just don't understand it. They think that they actually did a good thing in Gaza. And yet Hamas stands, and Israel is hated around the world for what they did in Gaza. They overreacted. Oh, Kirk, you got your walking shoes on. You're ready to go after it?
I'm hoping nobody pops off tonight. Because I think the year is very important. We've got things left to do. I've even got a few little things I'd like to finish. Certainly do better at. So no, I'm all in to stay as long as they'll let us stay. In fact, I liked your idea the other day where maybe we can go back a little extra in between if we have to, or something like that.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be great? I'm hoping during the couple of years that we are removed, that we're either able to telecommute, so we can broadcast from Shamayim, or we can come down here on the weekdays.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Can you imagine doing a show, having come down from Shamayim after a lovely Shabbat?
Yeah,
yeah. Talk about us being in your face now. Can you imagine how the rhetoric
turn it off the dial? It'd be like a radio show. You can't turn it off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Here it is, man. I'm going to broadcast right into your ears. You may want to listen. There's a lot going on here.
There's two little things, if I may, that I was thinking about for the whole show. Of course, I'm like the old codger here, and I've
Are
watched.
you older than me, or am I older than you?
I'm much older than you.
You're older than me?
Yeah.
Really?
I've already started my 76th year.
Oh, you're
I'm old.
76. Okay, yeah, you're
Well,
5 years older than me.
that's not the way y'all counted. We call the first year of your life should be one.
Yes.
You're born, but I'm
Yeah, I think so.
75, but I'm several months into 76, so that's
Okay, so you're 75, so you're 4 years older than me.
yeah. So
Yeah, you know, it was one of the things that I never ever mentioned my age. I stopped celebrating birthdays a long time ago. I stopped celebrating, I think, when I was 40, and figured if I never celebrate another birthday again, I would never have to age. If somebody asked you how old you are, I said, well, the last birthday I celebrated was 40. And
that's not true.
yeah, but you know, when you finally reach the point where I was saying, you're my guy now, and I want you to see this through, and you realize that the weight of the world is on your shoulders, at that point, I think it's appropriate to say, this is how old I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a point, if I may. Because I've been around so long, I've seen whole empires collapse. I mean, I grew up in Australia as a kid, and the empire was collapsed pretty good by then, post-World War II, all the way through the 50s, early 50s when I was down there. And I just knew the history, and I knew everything fell apart. I watched Russia fall apart with Eastern Europe being taken away and collapsed and all this stuff. And now we're going to see the whole world before our very eyes. It's just that is staggering and frightening to a degree. I'm not personally frightened, but it's just wow. And everything that we love about the world. Yeah. So
economic collapse, anarchy, world war, nuclear war, and Israel suffer more than any other country.
Yeah. But the thing that was quite interesting listening to you just now is greatest story in the whole Torah is these two luminaries. And for 5,993 years, nobody's picked it up till now.
Yeah, why?
Why? And it's the same language?
Yeah, it's so obvious.
I'm kind of stupid. It takes me a while, but gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that something that is fundamental to God's story is the two luminaries, and the fact that he has souls that he trusts and he redeploys them, particularly at the most important times.
Yeah.
Which is the only way that he could achieve the outcome that he wants without interfering with free will. It's brilliant on his part. He's really good at this.
Yeah.
He's really good at this. And that what he's doing is he's demonstrating that we were capable and we are capable of meeting his expectations. I think that's the thing that was so different for us, is that when I was condemned by a cultish group for, after reading 35 books, having to go back and edit those books because I would learn something new, and I'd want to correct the books so that they were as up to date as possible. Every time you learn something, it's like Dr. Jeff's a physician. Medicine is always learning things, and when they learn things, they want to update their procedures to do the best they can to help people. Well, I'm constantly learning things. I've spent 100,000 hours studying, and as you do, you learn new things, and you want to add those new things to what you know. And so their claim was, you can't speak for God if you're not perfect. And I said, oh, really? Huh? Well, then why did Moshe tell God that he made things worse, not better, before they even left Egypt? He was the greatest of the prophets, wasn't he? Why did Moshe say, God, this job's impossible. I want you to kill me. That you obviously hate me, or you would never put me in this job. Do you think that was perfect? The single most important person to God is Dode. And he did some things that are so bad they make your hair cringe. I mean, your skin cringe. He's really, really bad. He was wrong a lot. And he's the single most important person to God. And he was a great prophet. So obviously, God's not looking for perfect. And obviously, you can work with God and not be perfect. And obviously, when God says, I regret having created humanity, God's not perfect. And so the whole concept of perfect is just brain dead. And that's one of the things we learned about the entire experience in Eden is that tamim is from tamam. Yeah. It's a repeat of tam, and it means to complete. What God's looking for is just see it through. Listen to him. Think about what he has to say. Respond and finish the job. Show that you're steadfast, you're loyal, you're dependable. And then you realize that's the whole thing. And if you make, like when Adam made the mistake of eating from the tree of knowledge before it was time, had he simply set it down and said, you know, what we did here was wrong. Let's go talk to Yahweh about it. That was just wrong. We'll reset everything. God had no problem with that. But he didn't. He doubled down and he had every excuse. It wasn't you gave me the woman. So it's your fault. And then he was hanging in the tree. That's where he was when God found him, still munching down. So no, it's what we have never understood is the thing that God is looking for is for us to be dependable. And for us to be dependable, we have to trip and fall and get back up. We have to make mistakes and learn from them. And that's what he's trying to convey in using me and using Dode, using Moshe. It's all the same message. And the reason he's doing that is so profoundly important. And that's, again, what people don't have an appreciation of, because all the religions in the world want you to be bodily resurrected, so you're really no different, and you're not in a different situation in heaven versus earth. Oh, Shamaim is in the 7th dimension. To get there, you have to shed your physical body. And for God to bring you into his company, he needs to empower you to an infinite degree for each step up in dimensions. And the level of empowerment is so extreme that someone who has that benefit is going to be able to think, speak, look, changes a matter. We can eliminate an entire star or galaxy or group of people or planet. And that means that God's got to be able to trust those he empowers to that extent so they don't go do something stupid. Not looking for perfect. That would be boring. That would be impractical. There's no such thing as perfect. He is looking for dependable, loyal, trustworthy. I can empower you to that extent, and you're not going to go off and ruin the universe. Rip it apart. And so that's the reason why God can't just allow anybody into his covenant, because the covenant is this infinite empowerment. And then you realize, well, the only way that you can prove yourself worthy is to make a mistake and learn from it. Trip and get back up. That's it. And so God's given us that opportunity. I think it's one of the great insights ever along the way.
Yes.
JB, my friend, what do you think?
Shabuw'ah is one of those I've been torn on for a while with it, coming up. It's like, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, let's go. I want out of here. I'm sick of the minutia of this world.
Yeah.
But, if sticking around another year, we even bring one more person into the covenant, it's worth it. So,
it is,
yeah. And I think I've always felt like Yahweh was going to keep us here as long as possible until, it was going to become almost too dangerous, or, our being removed, is for a reason. And if you talked about earlier, most people are not going to notice it, and then they're going to be, you said, the ones that are like, well, why not me? I think there's going to be a third group, a much, much smaller group. But I think there's people in all of our lives that we've talked to that about this, and they, I don't know, and they're going to notice we're gone and go, wait, he's been saying this was coming. Yes. And I think that is going to be largely what will be the Teruah harvest. Will be those people that we knew that we're almost there, that they're going to spend the next 7 years going, okay, I got to figure this out.
Yeah, what they were talking about happened. In fact, that's why I began the show by saying I've had hundreds and hundreds of predictions of things that were going to happen that are very important and profound and that no one else was talking about, and they've all come true. And, part of it is because I'm a student of prophecy. But what we've said is all comes true. And when this other event happens, I think that all of those who have listened to us but have not responded, a significant number of those are going to respond. And that's going to be the true harvest. You're correct. And it's going to give us tremendous credibility when we come back as the final witnesses. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of credibility. And I think it'll have, the longer we can stay, the better we can build this library of books and this reservoir of logs, and the more people that participate in them, and we create more and more content, and we show that we are a complete family and everybody works and everybody knows exactly who Yahweh is and what he's offering, and we can present the entire family like this, then the credibility goes way up. And with credibility, people are going to respond. Part of this too, it is a double-edged sword, JB, in that if we stay, we can continue to contribute to the library and to the vlogs, and we can now showcase on a magnificent website audiobooks, for example, and the beautiful songs that are being written here, and thousands of hours of blogs. We can build this and have a place that is really exceptional for Israel and the world. But they have to be alone for a while. They've got to get to a point where there is no one, that their religion has let them down, their politicians have let them down, their military has left them down, their societal customs have let them down, their economy has left them, everything has fallen apart. They need to be isolated and alone and recognize that there is no one left other than Yahweh. And the only place they're going to find Yahweh is at yada.com and these books and these vlogs. And so that's part of it. We have to be gone for a period of time for that exact thing to play out. Perry, I don't know if you're mic'd up. You're on the other side over here. So are you mic'd up where you can...
Yeah, Rich has got his mic going.
Okay. You ready for another year of effort?
I look forward to another year of effort. I have looked forward to this my whole life, to be honest, that I'm actually involved in doing something. This is something I've been dreaming of my whole life, what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Perry just bought a computer that, as Leah said, that most universities would be green with envy to have. And the purpose of it is that we have a big project to convert all of the books to audio form with multiple voices, and then have avatars so that people are talking as they're reading the books, so that they're interesting visually to listen to and follow and more credible under that circumstance. The processing necessary for that is gargantuan. And so that's one of the projects that he is involved in now, working with Joe and with Leah on our avatars to accomplish that. So,
I've wanted to do linguistic research on the Hebrew language for many, many years, probably since I started listening to you when you started doing your translation. This is the project that gets me there, and I am looking forward to it so much. And, just to be part of the covenant and do something, get involved. We've got another year to get involved.
Yes, we have another year to demonstrate not only to Yahweh that he was right in trusting us, that, we will be great explorers with him throughout the universe, but to do this for ourselves and for others, so that we have a sense of accomplishment. I mean, I know I don't want to show up before Yahweh until I can say, we finished the job. We did it well. We exceeded expectations. When it got tough, we toughened up. When it was time to have many voices, we provided many voices. When it was time for us to act as an unfractured family, we responded strong, unified, capable. I'm reading some of the comments as some others in the Covenant family are doing now their first vlogs. And the way that others are rallying around them and encouraging them and listening to what they have done, it is far more satisfying than reading anything about one of the Yahweh vlogs that I do. I mean, that is what God wants with us, and that's what I want of this covenant family, is others to rise to the occasion and then others to support them. And when that happens, then you know what you're doing is resonating, that you're effective. So the only one that's not had to answer any questions yet is the king of the cables over there. So there he is. Look at that, was pretty slick. I love the fade and everything. Yeah, a man can clearly multitask. I think Richard is like a brother to us. He's just came right into our family and has. And if there was ever a person whose heart is right for this, it is Rich, and he was such a godsend in terms of his skill set and producing programs like this. We don't get to see him too much on camera.
I enjoy hiding here in the background.
You do. You love making the contribution, but doing so behind the scenes.
I like doing the technical side. I knew you needed some help.
Yes.
I just, I didn't hear any voice. It was like, I just knew. I've known since I plugged all your stuff into AI in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And and it sucked. It was horrible. It works. I use it to now double check your work like Mike does in the fact checking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's scary at times how the LLMs actually see you in a proper environment. Yeah. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to support you to the very end, which that's infinity.
Yeah, we've been a good team together. It's you have done so much with the LLMs, the AIs, and when you can tell the AI, I don't want you to go to popular appeal, because popular appeal would be religious appeal.
Yep.
And just because there are 1,000 people promoting the same lie does not make the lie true. What I want you to do is I want you to study this text. And then I want you to study the tools that were used to create this text. Look at the lexicons, look at the grammar, look at the translations. And then consider the conclusions. Are the conclusions valid? Are they logical? Is this because the conclusions are the opposite of what the world has believed for millennia? And every single time, the AI will say, not only is it true, and not only does he prove the case, it's profoundly important.
You're rewriting reality.
Yeah. I'm exposing reality in a world that has preferred fantasy.
Yes. And what's coming, people need to pay close attention this last year, because you're going to see a lot more subtle signs of things getting really bad, and nobody's going to pay attention. And they're going to get hit just like COVID came in. And we're like, how do we wind up here so quickly?
Yeah.
And that's going to happen all over the world.
The world believes in the normalcy syndrome, and also in popular appeal. And popular appeal, of course, is what you see in social media. But the majority have been wrong always. That's why God says that when man became many, he became intolerable. So the popular appeal is always wrong. And the number of people who have known Yahweh and spoken for Yahweh have been very few throughout history. So we are in a rare community at a exceedingly important time. It's the single most important 7 years in human history right now. 4 Moedim are being fulfilled in 7 years. And the fate of this planet is resting on how well we are able to effectively convey what God wants his people to know. So it is really extraordinary. I think I feel delighted to be in this place at this time and with this group of individuals. We're all rowing in the same direction, all for the same benefit. And yeah, there's a little selfishness in it. The selfishness is spending an eternity with the creator of the universe and with each other. And the difference between knowing we got in by the skin of our teeth, we knew what we had to accept, but we didn't make any contribution, versus knowing that many people are here because of what we did, and that it's a better experience for all because that we were committed. And even God himself can be pleased with what we have done. And if you want to call that selfish, then so be it. But there is that sense. It's he is our Father. We want to please him. And we know that he's been put through a lot of grief. There haven't been anybody out there that has uplifted him, even celebrated his name, celebrated his son,
They
celebrated
were all
all he has to offer.
condemned and spit on and just disregarded.
So it's a marvelous place to be able to please our God in this way with all the aggravation he's gone through. And, I want to be real clear that God's not happy. Every time you read an end times prophecy, he is enraged. He's going to purge the planet. So if you're in the majority, you got 7 years maximum to live. And so long as you stay political and religious and conspiratorial and militant, your maximum time is 7 years, and most people less than that. So that's what we're up against, but it ends happily ever after. There's a mortal remnant that's taken back into the garden, has 1,000 years to get their act together, and it's going to be ideal circumstances during that whole time. And there's going to be 2 harvests of covenant family that are hugely empowered and very, very important to God, and able to travel and explore the universe. Good times. So we had 3 songs we played this evening. One that is the catalyst for where we are, Star Spangled Cosplay. It's we're in this position today because Satan has possessed his stooge, and the world's going to pay a tremendous price because of the damage he's going to do. We can play that song. We can play the Luminaries song, which is the last one we did, or we can play the To Israel, about God's name. All right. We'll start with you, JB. Which one do you want to end the show with?
That's tough because musically I love the reggae, but lyrically I think the Luminaries was the best.
Okay, so you like Luminaries. What do you think, Kirk?
Well, I'm on the fence on either one of those. It's great for me. The Luminaries probably would be better.
Okay. So what do you
I'm
think?
Luminary. I'm Team Luminary.
Okay, we got 3 for Luminaries.
What's the one that was with Dode in it? The
one that was to Israel. That's my vote too. Okay, so we have 3 Luminaries. We have 2 to Israel, which is the one that has Dode so prominently in it. Has that fun scene where Dode and I are walking on the beach, which I think is pretty cool.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. That's my favorite. But I'm a little prejudiced. I wrote the lyrics to that one, and and I really like Yahweh's name, and I'm real fond of Dode. So you and I are in the same boat on that one. I'm not trying to stack the deck here, but I'm just agreeing with you, Jake.
Yeah, it's great.
I like your vote, Jake. All right. What do you think there?
I like
Rich?
the Luminaries, but I think we need to get the reggae song and get it played locally.
Yeah, I think we do.
It would go over really well down here.
It really would. But for the capper for the show, which one do you want to play?
Luminaries.
Okay, so we got 4 for Luminaries and 2 for To Israel. All right. So what do you think, Perry?
I like the two Israel one, but I sort of agree with the Luminaries just because of the message it brings.
Okay, so you're a split vote. Mike?
Well, I actually have a question on the cosplay video. Are the good witches supposed to represent someone in particular? Why are those in there in the video?
Oh, I think it's because of the Witches of Endor and
No, there was literally a Wicca group promoting.
Well,
Trump.
I know there actually is. I mean, that's real video. There is a group of witches that are promoting Trump, as what you would expect. But there's also been witches that have supported political figures that have had a disastrous effect on Israel. So I think that was the reason why she brought them in. I mean, the gremlins that are dancing with Trump and Melania, I think are really clever. She's just trying to say that this whole thing is demonic.
Well,
and it is.
One of the faces kind of looked like someone in the Mother Goddess clique.
Oh, really? Okay, well,
I'm sure that's just coincidental.
I didn't
purely
pick
incidental.
that up, but I didn't pick
Any
that up,
resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental.
Yeah, purely
Absolutely.
coincidental.
Is that
Purely coincidental? Yeah. It may be. I actually did not notice it. But if you were in her shoes, you would have every reason to want to do that.
Is there a disclaimer at the end of the video, like JB?
Well, I mean, Yahweh did call her all 3 names that he has for sorceress, whore, and adulteress. So he's thrown the full gauntlet at her. So if it's good enough for Yahweh, it's good enough for Leah.
Okay. Well, I'll vote for Luminaries as far as the vote goes.
Okay.
Just had that question.
All right. So all you could do, Kevin, is make it closer, but it's clearly going to be Luminaries.
Yeah, but you can vote for Dr. Jeff. I think you said.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I can vote for Dr. Jeff. So what do you think, Kevin?
Kevin's in control. He can have an.
Well, Kevin can play whatever he wants. It's true.
It's a Kevin Tater.
I was firmly team Luminaries from the minute the show started tonight. I have loved that video. I love that song. That was the most fun project to work on I've had. That would be my vote by far. Okay. I even said to the team when it came out.
And that's Mariah on the video, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's all her. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. It is really good. And of course, there's a lot of moments in there that are really kind of tear you up on what we're all about, and that is our story. That is the most important story I think we can tell right now. That God's got 2 luminaries, and He wants His people to listen to them. He's doing the best He can to get their attention. So Jake, pal, we got outvoted. Well, we got massacred, to tell you the truth. So it's. I tell you what we can do. Maybe we'll one of these days when we don't have school at 11 o'clock on a weekday, we'll get you in on the vlog on a vlog, and when we get you in on a day on the vlog, you and I will play to Israel.
That's
again.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, if you were to take the poetry of that, because you've done it now for. The 22nd, I don't know if the 22nd, no, yeah, you did it for the 89th, I think. You created a really good voice and cadence to delivering words that were being spoken as opposed to sung. One of these days, your dad, he has a copy of that. I've sent him the text of it. That's something you could probably do a really interesting variation of too. So.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Worth a try on that, and we'll have you on the show. All right, so Kevin, it is Luminaries. I'm glad it was a fun project. Well, I've been doing this for a quarter century, and I had read past it for 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the luminary. Well, I'm the younger one, so I've not been around quite as long as the greater one. And my whole life has been to reflect the light of the greater one. That's still a pretty cool deal, though. Your life story is reflecting the light of the greatest person who ever lived.
Pretty cool.
God's firstborn son. Yeah, pretty good.
Very cool. Are you kidding?
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool life. Yeah, so I'm happy to have it, but I missed it. I knew it wasn't about the creation of the sun and the moon, and I knew that it had to do with the fourth day, which is when Dode fulfills Pesach, Matzah, and Bikurim. Known that for better part of 20 years, which put me in a league by myself in terms of accuracy. It's the thing that I would say about the Yada Yawa series. There's things that I'd go back and I'd refine, but still, the Yada Yawa series is the most accurate presentation of Yahweh ever written.
Yeah,
by a huge margin. And we're still learning more. I had one of our wonderful editors say, I'm touting the vlog more than the books at this point. He says, there's a lot of people that don't want to ever listen to a video; they'd much rather read. That's how they rather process information. I happen to be one of those people. I prefer to read, but I also know that this is the time that God wants us to speak to His people, and the speaking is actually a more effective way of communication, particularly today than is reading. But I would share with her that there's not many people that are going to publish 3 books at the same time, because they were writing 3 volumes concurrently. And that, one of those volumes is like 450 pages. One is going to be 700 pages. And the other one is 400 now, and will finish out at about 600 to 700 pages. And I'm writing them concurrently. So it's not like I've given up on books.
No.
We'll keep the written word going. I happen to be a huge fan of the written word. I prefer the written word over the spoken word, have for years. And we would still be doing the spoken word if it wasn't for the fact that Yahweh says, okay, I want you to talk to my people. And, when God says, I want you to do this, you got a lot of choices, but only one of them matters. Yeah, it's okay. We'll do that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. It's worked out good so far.
Yeah.
You know that you're dealing with somebody that has never posted a word in social media, and that the average vlogger, is a pimple-faced kid in grandma's basement. Yeah. So, you may have picked the wrong guy he says, you are the books. Talk to my people.
That's true.
Okay, we'll do it. So here we are. All right, so Luminaries it is, with our sign-off on the show. Lovely to be able to do Shabuw'ah with you all. Shabuw'ah with you all. Well, I wish we had Leah here to do a final blast of the shofar. Maybe she's listening next door and can come back in after the song. So don't cut off the show just immediately. We'll see if Leah walked back in with the shofar. But let's play Luminaries.
Make sure that I can see her backstage, like on your screen or something, and I won't cut it off, okay?
The heaven will be shaken when the night begins to fade. 2 lights rise over history, and the promise that Yahweh made. covenant flame. Dowd walks first with courage, a shepherd's steady pace, not to be adored in vain, but to reveal Yahweh was named. Yada shows the path with the Torah pointing the way, turning shadows into sunrise, bringing night to the day. Two luminaries shining on the road back home, kindness in the morning, truth in every tone. One light for the journey, one to make things clear. Yahweh's call is waiting, and the way is near. No incense to tyrants, no praise for man-made gods. Hear the music of a people singing their return home. Through the smoke of false religion, through the noise of pride and fear, two bright lights are rising, and the path is clear. When the world is cold and crooked and the weak are made to bend, there is Yahweh's voice that beckons. There is still a better, and not by power, not by posture, not by empire's hollow spark, but by light that names the darkness, and by truth that cuts the dark. Two luminaries shining on the road back home, loving kindness in the morning, truth in every word. One light for the journey, one light to make things clear. Yahweh's call is waiting, and the way is near.
That is marvelous.
Well done.
That is absolutely marvelous.
Nice.
We even had the Shabuw'ah bread can. We had Leah on the shofar. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful way to introduce Shabuw'ah, but the fulfillment of Shabuw'ah 7 years before Yah was returned with his beloved son Dod. Marvelous. Thank you all for a marvelous Shabbat, the Shabbat of Shabuw'ah. What a show to be able to participate in during family hour. My great honor to be with you and to be able to celebrate Yahweh's name and his beloved son and his Moed Mikre, particularly the fulfillment of Shabuw'ah with family.
Thank you, Yada.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night, Jake.
Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me. 6 days we work, then we bask. We leave the noise to hear Yah's voice. We listen, we learn, we struggle to know. We walk with Yah through the Mikre. Shabbat, Shabbat, come home and rest. Shabbat, Shabbat, Yahweh's best. Lay down the weak, let your soul be free. Shabbat, Shabbat, come back to me.